Alrighty, can everybody see my screen? Just give me a thumbs up or something. All right. Okay, so welcome. This is class 3. So just an overview of today's class. We're going to be just going over if anyone has any homework questions, and then we'll be talking about classifying polynomials, adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials, long division and synthetic division. Then we'll go over the remainder theorem, and then some factoring, and then just give out the homework. All right, so first, so thank you guys for those who have submitted their homework. If you haven't already, no worries, just submit the homework sometime today. Or if you're still catching up, no worries, take your time. Once you submit it, I'll grade it and give it back to you a few days later. All right, so first we're going to be talking about classifying polynomials. Now, there are two different main ways of classifying a polynomial. First is by the number of terms, and then the second way to classify is by the degree. So right here, as you can see, so when you classify by degree, the 0 degree is constant. It's called a constant polynomial. First degree is linear. Second degree is quadratic. Third degree is cubic. Fourth degree is quartic. And then nth degree is just nth degree. Like say, if it was like x to the 5th or something, you would just say a polynomial to the 5th degree. And then I think I'll just explain it real quick. So 0 degree, it's just talking about the power on the x. So right here, as you can see, since it is the 0 degree, it would have been something like 5x to the 0th, which would be 1. So it would just be 5, and then etc. and etc. The power right here. And then what you want to keep in mind is that the degree of the polynomial will always be determined by the highest degree within that polynomial. So say you have something like x to the 7th plus x to the 6th, it would always be, you would always call it a polynomial to the 7th degree. You would never call it to the 6th degree, because there is the higher polynomial, the polynomial to the 7th degree. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then you can classify it by the number of terms it has as well. So from here, you can see that one term, it's called a monomial, 2 terms, binomial, 3 terms, trinomial, and then 4 terms, a polynomial, and then n number of terms. So just any polynomial with more than 4 terms, you would just call it a polynomial with n terms. All right. And then here are some quick problems. We'll take about 5 minutes. Just go through these and just classify the polynomials. I'll do the first one. So for the first polynomial, it would be a linear binomial, meaning that because it is only to the n to the power of 1, it would be first degree, meaning it's linear. And then since it has 2 terms, it would be binomial. So it would be a linear binomial. So just take about 5 minutes to go through these and classify all of them by degree and number of terms. And then once you have finished that, just send the answer to me in the chat box. All right, we'll take about another minute or so, and then just put whatever answers you have in the chat box. It doesn't, it's fine if you didn't get to all of them. And then afterwards, we'll just go over them. And if you have any questions about that, you can ask me. All right, I see a few answers in the chat box, and I think a lot of them are correct. And I'll just quickly go over them. So for number 2, it would be a cubic binomial because it is r to the third power. So it would be cubic, and then it is a binomial because it has 2 terms. And then for number 3, it would be a quartic monomial. Number 4 would be a quartic trinomial. Number 5 would be a constant monomial. Number 6, a quartic monomial. 7, a trinomial to the 7th degree because it is b to the 7th. And then 8th, we would have a polynomial with 6 terms to the 7th degree. Does anyone have any questions as to how I got them? Okay. I do not see any questions, so we'll keep moving along. All right. Adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. I think this should be pretty much a review, but just remember that when you're adding, subtracting a polynomial, you can only add or subtract when the variable and the degree are the same. So you can add 10n plus 5n is 15n, but you can't add something like 9n to the 6th plus 9n to the 4th. That you just can't add them. So we'll just quickly we'll take about 10 minutes to just work through these questions. And so I'll do the first one. So simplify the expression of 10n to the 4th plus 13n squared. 13n squared plus 12n cubed plus negative 12n to the 4th plus 7n squared minus 14n cubed. So first, of course, you would remove the parentheses, the brackets. And then after that, you would combine the terms 10n to the 4th and negative 12n to the 4th because they have n with the same degree. So with that, you would combine it and you would get negative 2n to the 4th. Let me type that very quickly. So you have negative 2n to the 4th from that. And then afterwards, you would combine 13n squared plus 7n squared because they both have power of 2 and then n. So you would get plus 20n squared. And then lastly, you would combine these two, 12n cubed minus 14n cubed, and you would get negative 2n cubed, and that would be your final answer. Just make sure that, I forgot to do this, but make sure when you are answering that the answer is from the number with the greatest degree. So negative 2n to the 4th minus 2n cubed plus 20n squared. So just make it from ascending to descending order. We'll take about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes to work on these. If you have any questions, just message me in the chat box, or you can just unmute. Okay, we'll take about another 2 to 3 minutes to go through these questions, and then to work on these questions, and afterwards I'll go over the answers and then explain them. All right, if you haven't already, just put your answers into the chat box, and then we'll go over the answers. All right, seeing that all the messages have stopped, I'll go over the answers now. So for number 2, you would get, let me just type it over here. You would get 6r cubed minus 11r squared minus 19r plus 13. For number 3, you would get negative 14a to the 4th plus 17a squared minus 15. For number 5, you would get 2n squared plus 8n minus 24. For that, you would just multiply negative 2n with negative n, multiply negative 2n by negative 6, and then you would multiply 4 by negative n, and then 4 by negative 6, and then just add all of that up, and you would get the answer. Same goes for the other multiplication questions. Number 6, you would get 16x squared plus 4x minus 42. And number 7, 6p squared plus 29p minus 42. And then for number 8, you would get 6n squared plus 32n minus 24. Does anyone have any questions as to how I got those answers? Okay, I do not see any questions, so I will keep moving along. All right, now we will be moving on to long division with long division, there are a few important steps. Remember, divide, multiply, subtract, and then repeat. So for this, I will do it on my other computer. All right. Can everybody see my phone camera right here with the piece of paper? Just give me a thumbs up if you do. All right. So for long division, right, there are a few steps like the one I just mentioned. And so let me pull up an example problem. So for example, for long division, we would have something like 3x minus 2 divided by 3x cubed minus 14x squared minus 19x plus 23. All right, so that's an example problem. And so what do you do from here, right? So you take the first number right here, which is 3x cubed, can I focus? There we go. So we have 3x cubed right here. And then afterwards, you have 3x right here. So you take the first number of what you're dividing by, and then you are taking the first number of the quotient. So afterwards, right, this right here, you would do 3x cubed divided by 3x, and then you would get x squared, right? So, and then you would take that answer and put it up here, x squared, so that is part of your answer. And then you would take x squared and multiply it by 3x minus 2, the number you're dividing it by. And then you would take the answer of that, which is 3x cubed minus 2x squared. And then you would plug that in to the equation right here. You would subtract it. So remember, first divide, multiply, and then subtract, right? So we're on to the subtraction step. Very important. Don't remember to flip the signs. So although this is positive 3x cubed and this is negative 2x squared, you would flip it. So it'd be negative 3x cubed minus 2x squared, right? And then afterwards, what you would get, negative 16x squared, move it down like regular division, long division, and then negative 19x. So what do you do from there? You repeat. So negative 16x squared divided by, what is it? You divide it by 3x. 1 second. Oh, sorry, I miswrote it. Plus 2x, so it would be negative 12x squared. So negative 12x squared divided by 3x. What would you get? You would get negative 4x. And then the next step, multiply. So you would get negative 4x times 3x minus 2. So after this, right, you have this little problem right here. So, and then after you multiply that, you would get negative 12x squared plus 8x. Is everybody following? Just give me a thumbs up or something so I know that you're following, that you understand. Okay. So after this, right, you would plug it. You would again drag it into the problem. So it's a bit messy, but negative. I'll just move this down here, 12x squared minus x. Right. You would have plus 12x squared plus minus 8x, right? Afterwards, these two would cancel out, and you would get negative 27x. Move the 23 down, plus 23, right? And then you would get, and then again, repeat the process. Negative 27x divided by 3x equals negative 9. I think someone has unmuted and are typing. If you could just remute yourself. Thank you. So then you have negative 9, right? And then again, negative 9 times 3x minus 2 equals negative 27x plus 18. So afterwards, again, you would add it to that. So plus 27x minus 18, and you would get remainder 5. Oh, and I forgot to put everything up there, but you would just have negative 4x minus 9. And then so what you do with the remainder 5, right? You just take the remainder and you divide it by this number, the number you're dividing it by. So it would be plus 5 divided by 3x minus 2. And that would be your final answer, x squared minus 4x minus 9 plus 5 divided by 3x minus 2. All right. Does anyone have any questions about how I got this answer? I do not see any questions. I'll do one more problem to practice problem, because I think this This might be a bit confusing at first. Okay. So another problem. So 3x plus 3 divided by 12x to the fourth plus 18x cubed minus 6x squared minus 3x plus 5. So again, you would do the same thing as always. 12x to the fourth divided by that, 12x to the fourth divided by 3x equals 4x to the third, 4x to the third, 3x plus 3 times the number that you just got from dividing, 4x cubed. And then you would get 12x to the fourth plus 12x cubed. Subtract that from the original equation, 12x minus 12x cubed. Great. Then you would get 6x cubed. Bring the 6 down, minus 6x squared. So after that, you would, again, divide 6x cubed divided by 3x equals 2x squared. And then you would multiply 2x squared times 3x plus 3, which you would get 6x cubed plus 6x squared. And then you would get, subtract it, again, 6x cubed minus 6x squared, negative 12x squared minus 3x. Don't do what I'm doing, which is forgetting to put the numbers up, plus 2x squared. Afterwards, again, a very repetitive process once you get used to it. Negative 12x squared minus divided by 3x, equals negative 4x. Negative 4x times 3x plus 3 equals negative 12x squared minus 12x. Add that or subtract that into it. So you would have positive 12x and plus 12x. You would get 9x plus, let me check, plus 5. After that, again, 9x divided by 3x equals 3. 3 times 3x plus 3 would be equal to 9x, sorry about that, plus 9. Again, subtract it, minus 9x minus 9, and you would get, let me put the things that I wrote up there, minus 2x, minus 4x plus 3, right? And then what would you get? You would get a remainder of negative 4. Very simple. Just put it as plus negative 4 over 3x plus 3. And that would be the answer. So a bit tedious, but that is how you do long division. Alrighty, let me, okay. All right, let me go back to screen sharing 1 minute. Okay. And here are just a few problems for you guys to work through. You don't have to, I definitely don't expect you guys to finish all of these problems because, long division is very tedious. It takes a long time. So let's take about 8 to 10 minutes to just go try as many problems as you can. It's okay if you get it wrong. It's really, I think right now it's really about getting that process memorized of, what to do about dividing, multiplying, subtracting, repeating, and just keeping that process just getting that process down. I think that's the most important part. So we'll take 8 to 10 minutes. And then once you get the answer, just put them in the chat box and then I'll go over the answers. All right, we'll take about another 2 more minutes and then I'll go over the answers. All right, whatever answers you have, just put them in the chat box. If you, it's fine if you haven't gone to all of them, even if you just got part of an answer for a question, you can, that's also fine. Put it in the chat box. I'd love to see how far you've got and your thought process. All right, so let us go over the answers. So for number 1, I'll just type the answers down below. We have 7x to the 4th. We have 7x to the 4th minus 9x cubed minus x squared minus 7x minus 5 plus 7 divided by 3x plus 1. Very, very lengthy equation. For number 2, we have 3x to the cubed plus x squared minus 4x minus 9 plus 5 divided by 3x minus 2. For number 3, we have 3x squared minus x minus 4 plus 9x plus 1 divided by x squared plus 5x minus 4. I'll just cover these 3. Does anyone have any questions or would like to see one of these problems or any of these 6 problems solved on paper? Okay, yeah, I can definitely show number 1 on paper. Let me pause share. Okay. All right. So number 1. Okay. So number 1, right? It was 3x plus 1 divided by 21x to the 5th minus 20x to the 4th minus 12x cubed minus 22x squared minus 22x plus 2. All right. So first of all, what we do for every when we're doing long division, right? We look at the first number and we look at of the quotient, whatever we are dividing by, and then 3x, the number we are dividing this problem by. So first, 21x to the 5th divided by 3x, right? And then afterwards, you would get 7x to the 4th as your answer. Of course, you would put your answer up top, so 7x to the 4th, right here, like so. And then afterwards, you would multiply 7x to the 4th multiplied by the number you are using, this one. So just remember the key steps that I said as well. Divide, multiply, subtract, and then repeat. So step number 2, of course, multiply. So you would get 21x to the 5th plus 7x to the 4th, right? And then move that up, subtract it, minus 21 5th minus 7x to the 4th. You would get negative 27x to the 4th. Bring it down just like regular good old division, negative 12x cubed right here. And then, are you following so far? Just give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay. And then afterwards, right, we take this number, the first number again, negative 27x to the 4th, divided by 3x right here. So negative 27x to the 4th divided by 3x, right? And then we would get negative 9x to the 3rd. What do we do with that number? Multiply by this top number again. Multiply by 3x plus 1. What would you get? You would get negative 27x to the 4th minus 9x cubed. Plug that number in, subtract it from the other number, plus 9x cubed. You would get, with that number, right, negative 3x cubed minus 22x squared. Again, take divide, negative 3x cubed minus negative x squared times 3x plus 1. You would get negative 3x cubed minus x squared, right? 3x cubed plus x squared, 21x squared minus 22x. Take this number again, 21x squared minus divided by 3x equals 7x. Multiply that by 3x plus 1 again, 21x squared plus 7x. Subtract that, negative 21x squared minus 7x, negative 29x plus 2. That, and then, sorry about that, I forgot. Remember, I always forget this. I always do this when I'm doing long division. Make sure to write the numbers, your answer part on top while you're doing it. Minus x squared minus plus 1 second. X squared minus x squared minus 7x, right? Yes. And then afterwards, wait, hold up. Oh, that, so it should be negative. So negative, so that would be plus. So sorry, that wouldn't be negative 29x. That would be negative 15x plus 2. Negative 15x divided by 3x equals negative 5, right? Put negative 5 up there. Multiply 3x plus 1. Negative 15x minus 5. Plug that in. So you are left with, so you would have plus 15x plus 5. So you would get a remainder of 7. And now what do you do with that remainder of 7? You divide it by 3x plus 1, and then so you would get plus 7 divided by 3x plus 1 and that would be your whole answer, 7x to the 4th minus 9x cubed minus x squared minus 7x minus 5 plus 7 divided by 3x plus 1. Okay. Give me a thumbs up. Do you kind of follow? Do you understand what I did there and why I did it? Okay. Nice. All right. So again, it's fine if you don't if you get confused or if you aren't super sure of what to do at first, but that always happens. So I would say just keep on doing it. Just keep on working on it. I think that's what's going to really help you master it. So always just remember the main steps. Multiply. So first divide, then multiply, then subtract, and just repeat that. Okay. All right, now we're going on to the second type of division, which is synthetic division. So this is a much faster, much quicker way to find the answer for when you're dividing polynomials than long division. But the one downside of it is you can only use it when you're dividing a polynomial by another polynomial that's in the form of x minus c, or if the polynomial can be rearranged into the form of x minus c. If this isn't true, you cannot use synthetic division to solve it. It just won't work. All right. Let me pull up a problem. I'm gonna go out of screen share. All right. Okay. Okay. So let's take another equation, right? So we have 5x cubed plus 17x squared plus 6x minus 25 divided by x plus 2. Right, so we have this equation right here. So as you can see, the number we are dividing it by is in the form of x minus c, with c being equal to -2, right? So you can see that. So what you want to do is you want to divide it by, you want to first set it up like this. So you put whatever c is, right? So you draw this little L-shaped thing, this long L-shaped little box, right? And then you put whatever c is outside of the box right here, -2. Then you take the number in front of all of the variables, and put them into the top of the box. So first we would have 5. We would have 17, 6, and -25. So afterwards, you would take the 5, the first number, drop it down right here, right? So you would have 5 here, and then this is where, so then you would do 5 times -2. You would get -10, right? And then you move the -10 up to here. And then afterwards, -10, you add that on to the 17. All right. Okay. Can you see it better now? So afterwards, right, you have -10 plus 17, you are left with 7, right? And then you would do the same process again. It's a lot of repeating. So 7 times -2, what you would get with that, -14. You move the -14 up to here, add that to the 6, what you get, -8. One second, -8, and then -8 times -2. Then you would get +16, +16, add that to -25, and then you would get -9. And that is your remainder. Whatever is in the last box right here is -8. whatever is in the box right here is the remainder. Of course, if the number in the box is just 0, that means there is no remainder. So these numbers right here represent the number in front of the variable, in front of x in this case. So as you can see here, the highest degree of this equation is 3, right? It is a cubic polynomial. So their answer will be 1 less than that. It would be 5x squared plus 7x minus 8 with a remainder of -9. So your final answer would be 5x squared plus 7x minus 8 plus -9 over x plus 2, right? And that would be our final answer. So these numbers that you move down here are all the first number in each part of the polynomial. Do you guys kind of understand it? If there's any part that's unclear, you can just type it in the chat box and I'd be happy to explain it again. Okay, I do not see any questions. So I will do one more problem and then we'll work on it for the room, and then we'll work on whatever is left for the remaining period of time. Okay. So right here we have another one, 10x cubed plus 24x squared plus 17x plus 24 divided by x plus 2. And then what you would do with that, move it down, of course, 10, 24, 17, 24. Remember, C in the original equation, it is x minus c. So be very careful. It is c would be equal to -2 in this case. It wouldn't equal 2. So keep that in mind. Very important, because your whole equation will be messed up if you accidentally plug in a negative for a positive or a positive for a negative. So you put that over here. So first, what you always do, drop down the first number, drop down. So you have 10. And then what do you do? 10 times -2, -20. So you put that here. Add these two numbers up. You would get -4. I'm sorry, +4. Then multiply that by -2 again. So you would get -8. Add that, you would get 9. And then multiply that again by the -2. So what would you get? You would get -18. And then you add that together and you would get 6, the remainder of 6. Then, of course, you take a look. What is it? X to the third power. So it would be x to the x squared as your answer. Well, the highest power in your answer. So it would be 10x squared plus 4x plus 9 and plus 6 divided by x plus 2. So your final answer, just to write it out neatly, 10x squared plus 4x plus 9 plus 6 divided by x plus 2. And that would be the final answer from this equation using synthetic division. All right, let's just take on about 3 minutes to work on the very first problem. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat box, and then we'll just wrap up class from there. All right, we'll take another about 2 more minutes, and then after 2 minutes, just put your answer to the first problem in the chat box. I'll quickly go over it, and yeah. All right, if you haven't already, just put your answer in the chat box, and we'll go over it. All right, so the answer to number 1, it would be 9x squared minus 2x minus 7 minus 4 over x plus 1. That would be the final answer. Because we are running a bit short on time right now, I don't have the time to explain it, but I can definitely explain it next class, or just shoot me an email or a message, and I'd be happy to explain it then. Yep. So we weren't able to go over everything else. We'll wrap this up at the beginning of next class, but just to kind of give a quick overview, I'll just run through this very quickly. So we'll talk about the remainder theorem. You can use this to find the remainder when you're dividing two polynomials. So this is just a shortcut if they ask you to find the remainder. And then we're going to just talk about the different types of factoring, or different ways to factor polynomial. You can factor by grouping, factor polynomials in quadratic form, factoring perfect square trinomials, and then factor with the sum and difference of two cubes using the two equations listed right here. And then you can also factor with the difference of squares using the equation shown. All right, so that is the end of class. Remember to turn in the homework from the previous 2 classes. If you are running a bit behind on those, no worries. Just turn them in when you can or when you have the time. And for homework this week, I'll send out the homework probably by the end of today or tomorrow.